Hello everyone, welcome to Strategic Timeout Match 26 between Rajasthan Royals and Lucknow Super Giants. I think both the teams have been consistently doing well from the last season and they have continued that into this season, look very rounded sides. But before we discuss these teams, let's talk about the match, right, between Mumbai and SRH. Another surprisingly high scorer match went to the last game. Both our Mumbai Indian fans are really happy. So let's see who
Yeah,
has to say what. So how did you take about the matches, guys?
I think it was a great win. Especially with such a young bowling attack, I think it was a great effort defending the total. Our at least this season, batting is our strength. So that is something that good batting totals is something we expect. As fans, we expect every game, but defending totals is something. Seeing the bowling attack defend the total was very good to see, and very good. Performance by Tendulkar in the last over. I think he nailed those Yorkers really well. That's also a good confidence booster for him. So very happy in general. A good away win for us. This was not at Wankhede. So third in a row, and I hope this winning streak continues.
In
Yeah,
terms of
good win.
fantasy, Vishnu, what do you think? Like, obviously, Green had a great match. I think some of the picks we had called last game. So, like, what is your insight through that?
I mean, again, that the batting, you don't know who's going to do well which game. I think that is the concern. Because again, Green came one down today. We all thought it's going to be Tilak or Surya, but Mumbai surprised us and Green, and he did really well, right? Just like
Yeah.
Tilak did a couple of games ago. So I think it's going to be hard to predict. It's probably going to be based on when the first wicket falls, stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I think all of them are showing form. Green obviously chipping in with the ball. Kishan getting wicket keeping points. All of them have good points. Only Surya is still a bit of a question mark. Rohit is not consistent. So yeah, you don't know where the runs are gonna come from because there are a lot of options. And I think bowling. I mean, to be honest, again, it was a match they should have had in the bag earlier, but they sort of struggled. And yeah, I mean, great penultimate over by Green again,
Yeah.
showing that he can bowl death. So I think Green, again, we are flipping every game just because of how Mumbai is using him, right? Like last game didn't use him at all. Today, out of nowhere, he was one down and the death bowler. So yeah, I think still like that batting lineup is a bit up in the air. So it's like a little dicey fantasy wise, but yeah, very good prospects overall.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely bang on. We don't know where the points are coming, but as long as you're backing Mumbai batsmen, I think the points are coming. It's happened now 3 games in a row, which is good sign to sort of have the Mumbai
Hey.
batsmen as assets. So yeah, looks like Mumbai Indian fans are finally happy. So jumping into the next game, right? RR and LSG. Teams look well settled now. I don't think so. There are much sort of changes on the horizon.
Yeah.
So any changes do you expect, guys, from RR? I think they look well rounded.
Yeah, maybe just depending on the pitch. Like they might, if they don't need Zampa, like they don't need the third spinner, they could get Holder, but depends on what the
Yeah.
pitch is like. And we've not seen a game here so far. So this is the first game at Jaipur, so it'll be interesting to see whether teams come in differently. But yeah, expectation is that it'll be the same.
Okay. Uh, and about the LSG, I feel the only change that I'm expecting is maybe a Mayers because he's not had three great innings in a row, and Quinton is sitting outside, who's been a terrific player for LSG last year. So I think that is the one change I'm expecting from LSG. Rest, I think even Yudhvir had a great starting, so I think he
Yeah.
retained his place, and the team overall, I don't see many changes there. But in terms of the batting, right, like just the playing 11s, how RR's top order has been, and on the same front, LSG's middle order has been the strong point for them this season. So it's like it's been different. So, with Jammu, what do you think about RR's batting? Do you see good picks from there for tomorrow's game, and like who will be the assets you will pick up from their top order?
Again, RR is one of those teams where it is very difficult to nail down. Say, if you're playing a season-long fantasy, it's difficult to nail down the two of the four or five players who are going to score. And if you look at how Hetmeyer has been, how consistent he has been in spite of coming late down the order, I think he also gives you that he can be the surprise package or your X factor in the team. So for me, Josh Butler, any team he plays around the globe, any fantasy followers, you need to have Butler because he can take the matches away. I loved how Sanju approached the last inning. So
Yeah.
again, Sanju Samson is someone who's capable of hitting long balls, who's capable of not really, being a slow player, can take on the bowlers right from the one book, can be definitely your X factor. And then you're definitely looking at a bright prospect in Yashasvi. The only challenge I find with him is he's not consistent enough. So he needs to get his mental temperament right in terms of getting through the first 10, 15 runs, and then we will all know how explosive he can be.
Yeah, I think Yashasvi, because of sort of little tapering of last few games, I think still
Yeah.
one of the best uncapped picks, but not right now. I don't think so. We can clearly categorize him into any of the three segments that we typically do. So yeah, I think yeah, agreed. Salkar, what do you think about their the lower order of RR, right? The bowlers and the middle order. Any good picks for you for tomorrow's game? Any X factors, good picks?
I
Anyone?
think as far as the batting is concerned, I cannot look beyond Hetmeyer. He's kind of come in their lower middle order and has delivered every single time, almost except for the first game, maybe. So as far as batting is concerned, I don't really see anything beyond Hetmeyer. But then coming to the bowling, of course, Bolt, Chahal are perennial wicket takers. They're more likely to take wickets than not. So they are definitely, I would put them in the good buys, especially Chahal in the middle overs. Bolt has taken a couple of wicket maidens, I think, this season, if I'm not wrong. So he's always a candidate to take wickets in any given game.
Do you think Bolt, now considering he did not play a game and sort of he did not have the greatest of the matches last match, does he become more of an X factor for this game, considering not many might go and sort of buy him among fantasy players, or do you still feel people would hold on Bolt and he remains a good pick?
I think Bolt could be an X factor just because there are so many options in this game, right? There's Butler, there's KL Rahul, there's Chahal, there are so many good options that, right, not everyone's going to jump onto Bolt. So I think that's fairly reasonable. Yeah.
Any players, Vishnu, you think would be like clear wait and watchers in RR right now, like maybe or Dhruv Jurel, Sandeep, or do you see them still having some impact in the game?
I think Jurel and Parag definitely are avoids, according to me. They come laid down again with Butler, Sanju, and Hetmeyer and everyone. They've shown time and again that they're good to play the whole inning. So these guys don't really get to bat
Yeah.
or get to bat very few, and aren't in good touch either. So they are avoids. Sandeep, no, I still think because he bowls death, I think there's always potential for him to get wickets. He has got wickets 3 matches in a row, so I think he's a decent shout. Any good death bowler is, and he's obviously high on confidence after keeping Dhoni at bay. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't keep. Yeah.
I think one player we have
We-
not spoken about is Ashwin, right? Ravi Ashwin from this team. Like, do you see him having an impact, especially if RR bat first? I think he still remains a good pick because they have shown tendency for him to sort of come up the order. So, do you think for tomorrow's game against LSG, how would you rate Ashwin?
Like very good for sure. I mean, with the ball, he's always capable of getting wickets. And yeah, with the bat, I think they're speaking a lot about it. He is speaking a lot about his batting. Um, he seems confident. Even last game, even though he came that late, he did his job, won them the game. And I think they continue to back him, especially with Parag and Jurel. Like seeming a bit off. Like after Hetmeyer, he seems like the right guy to come in right now.
I think pretty well summed up for RR. Now coming to LSG, right? Let's start from their bowlers because they are up against one of the best batting sides, the best top order, I would say. One, two, three, very, very sort of prized positions of RR, the starts they have given. So, Jammu, what do you feel about the bowlers? Like, still some good picks standing out for you, even though they are facing the likes of the Butlers, Yashasvis, and Sanjus, and Hatmeyer potentially.
Yeah. So I feel again LSG has a very well-rounded sort of a bowling attack. The fact that they backed someone like a Yuzveer coming in, he picking up 2 wickets, seaming the ball up front. That was really nice to watch. I think Rahul needs to be smart with his choice of bowlers, right? Like I feel last match he missed a trick, just bowling out Krunal and Gautam, which are sort of similar sort of players, not turning the ball a lot and then going through the middle overs and not utilizing Vishnu as much. For me, the biggest concern in this bowling lineup is Avesh. Primarily because say the likes of Avesh, Natarajan, Harshal, they've done a terrific job at the back end of the inning. They've made sure that they not only contain the runs but pick up crucial wickets as well, and that I don't see happening. So for me, the biggest challenge with LSG's bowling lineup is the death bowling. And if you sort of are facing, say, the likes of Hetmeyer or what Sanju's, right, you can actually go away for a lot. So KL needs to get it right in terms of what his combinations are going to be. But I still would back RR's batting lineup to come good against the LSG bowlers. Wood and Bishnoi are definitely with my starting 11. Uh, just because they get you that variety in their attack and end up picking wickets consistently.
Yeah, I think Vishnoi not bowling right. He coming out the end was a very big surprise to me also
Correct.
because he has been one
Yeah.
of their wicket takers in middle overs, and
Yeah.
just because I think Punjab top order got out cheaply, I don't know what KL's thinking was, but I think
Yeah.
the impact Vishnoi had at the end of the innings that sort of brings him back definitely in the sort of in mind space of Rahul, and I don't think so that is ever going to happen. I don't see it happening in the near future, and that's why I think he's going to be a very bankable option going forward. So yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
completely agreed. Salkar, what do you think about their middle order? Right, we have spoken about their middle order. The Stoinis, Purans coming well. Puran has been consistently well, surprisingly for Puran standards
Right. Right.
previously. Krunal,
There
Stoinis,
is
Puran.
that one game where all of them clicked 65, 62, 30 was
Yeah,
when their all middle order was all guns blazing. So I think their middle order looks good. I mean, I know they haven't performed to their potential in all the games yet but there's Krunal, there's Stoinis, there's Puran, and then Badoni in the limited balls that he has faced in general has looked good. But from a fantasy perspective, I think uh, looking at RR's bowling attack, I would avoid Puran for this game. There's Chahal, uh, who can easily top edge Chahal for a catch at the boundary. So I would at least stay away from Puran in this game. Otherwise, in the middle order, it's very tricky to be honest with RR's bowling attack. So I would look to stay away from it. But what are your thoughts on KL? Like with a bowler like Bolt in their lineup, would you be comfortable starting KL Rahul? Where would you put him as a pick?
yeah, yeah. I think KL sort of the last three matches, if you see, he's come into like some sort of form. Two greens and one yellow. He's sort of picking up. But I'm still like not sure of what exactly how KL is thinking in this team, to be honest, because he just can't eat away that many deliveries when you have a Puran Stoinis coming at 6, 7 potentially, right? Like
Yeah,
these are massive hitters of the ball, and that is
right.
where I'm not sure if Rahul changes his approach. Does he still be that successful? And if he doesn't, does LSG be successful? So it's become like a catch 22 situation for them. For now, I
Right.
think with LSG still sort of uh, being in the mix, rather doing well. I think Rahul for tomorrow's game maybe continues with that, considering he's coming against one of the best bowling attacks. So I think Rahul might continue the way he bats, and if he bats the way he bats, I think he's generally a good option for having those 40-50 points for sure, and maybe a massive score, right? If he settles in. So I think Rahul, I would still say an X factor because he's not taken it by a storm, but he's always there in the mix, and especially if LSG bat first, I think he'll be a good sort of X factor to
Right,
have.
right, right.
Vishnu, what do you think about like the Krunal Pandya, right? Like tomorrow's match, how effective do you see him? What about Mayers, Huda? Like maybe a Quinton sort of comes in for Mayers. Do any of these picks excite you, or how it is?
Again, I think Krunal definitely does. At two down, I think he sort of nailed that two down. And he's bowling his full quota of overs as well now, looking threatening. Like most spinners this year, somehow he's picking up wickets. So I think he's a really good pick. Huda is definitely looking like an avoid. Just looks completely out of touch.
Yeah.
I even think he loses his place in the team soon. But yeah, definite avoid. Mayers is a tricky one, right? Like so explosive in the beginning of the season, and then now last 2-3 games he's just slowed down, looking likely to be replaced by Decock. But he's still, I think, an X factor because I think again it depends on the pitch, but he has that potential to explode. He has runs in him. So yeah, I think Mayers is a good X factor.
Okay. Yeah. Jammu, I think two uncapped picks stand out for tomorrow, right? Like one is for RR, that is Yashasvi, and the new bowler we saw in LSG for Yudhvir Singh, who sort of came up
Yeah,
the ranks. So who
yeah.
would you among these two sort of rate better for tomorrow's match, and like any reasons?
I feel Yashasvi is someone I rate higher at this moment, just because the glimpses that he has shown in the past. Yudhvir is still very early days in a tournament like IPL, but I really like him swinging the ball up front. He's a tall bowler. He hits the deck hard and swings it. So I feel guys like Myers, even Rahul, say if he gets a good net, right, they are susceptible to a bowler like Yudhvir. So not sorry, Rahul. Sorry, Butler and Yashasvi. They are susceptible to the likes of Yudhvir. So I feel he has a good chance of picking a couple of wickets. The only challenge is he's probably not going to bowl outside the power play given the options LSG has at their disposal. So I'll probably go Yashasvi and Yudhvir in that particular order.
Yeah.
Aren't you worried about Yashasvi facing Wood?
Uh, I still feel Yashasvi can take the attack to the opposition. So even if he gets to face like say 20 deliveries, right, or say the first 4 to 5 overs, he's someone who can still give you that 40-45 odd runs. So my rationale behind getting an uncapped player is always around someone who can get me a good 45-50 points, and then anything on top of that is sort of a bonus. So I still feel someone batting up the order and being as explosive as Yashasvi, they get into the team just because they're a free transfer and they're giving you those 60-70 points.
So yeah, I think same sentiments. I think we all will echo here. In terms of captains, right now this is a match with superstars across the field. As you can see, right, we already have like five really good picks and half a dozen X factors. So if you guys have to pick one, I would allow you two. Come on, okay, two is fair enough, I think, because it's a tough thing. So each of you, if you have to pick up two, captain and vice captain, in no particular order, who would those be? You can start, Salkar.
I think, if I have to pick, say, two captains, I would pick Butler and Wood, and two vice captains, maybe someone like Chahal and Krunal, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I,
Alca's cheating.
you can't cheat, Salkar. You have to pick up just one captain, one vice captain. So, yeah, so, so because we are going to check this tomorrow how we are doing on the front. So yeah, if you have to pick among these four.
Maybe I'm planning a 2x bonus. That's why I picked twice.
Okay, so now yeah, tough. Let me make it tough for you. So four, you gave me four names. So if you have to pick up any two,
Any two?
yeah,
I think captain, I would still go Butler. He did have a good game last time, but I expect him to get back on track. And vice captain, I would play it safe with someone like Ronald, who comes to down and also bowls
Yep.
his full quota of overs.
What about you, Vishnu?
I mean, it's hard to look past Butler as one. I mean, there are going to be like just 2 or 3 games a season where he fails. He's had one of them already, so I would be very, very, very skeptical of not going with him as either my captain or vice. And I think my other uh, pick would be Yuzvendra Chahal. I think he's been really good. He's been looking like, getting a wicket every other ball almost. I really like him. I think he'll do well. Again, the pitch might aid him from what I've seen, but yeah, like if it spins, I think he's in the wickets, and I think he'll be a very good pick.
Jammu, what would you say?
Um, I, I probably feel on form I am going for someone like a Sanju as my captain. Again, I'm also looking at the keeper points as probably a slight added advantage, and I also expect Rahul to come out good. So I would probably expect him to be a little more carefree at the top of the order. I know he has given away that responsibility to say possibly Myers or say Kuda coming in, but I feel Rahul's strength in the IPL has been taking the bowlers up front, attacking them in the power play, and that's where he has got the majority of his runs. So for me, Sanju on form and Rahul as sort of the X factor vice captain for me. I think I'm going to these two.
Okay.
But I would definitely have Butler in my team. I'm not risking not having Butler in my team.
Yeah, I think it is pretty much that Butler is the safest captain to have tomorrow's game because of his past record. Previous years, orange cap holders brought the same form, has become inarguably one of the best white ball cricketers. So yeah, I think Butler is a safe house. And after that, I think it's a pretty much as we can see here, right? Like everyone gets one vote, the Krunal Chahal. So yeah, it's going to be that kind of a match for vice captain, I feel, in terms of safety. So yeah, the last segment we discussed the Dream 11. So I think the Dream 11 is sort of hard in a different way for this match because all the choices are really good. So I think we have gone ahead, picked up 9 players here. We have discussed extensively around all of them. So I don't think so. We need to go in detail of any of the players here. Just in terms of the differentials, right? Like I think when RR bats first, Yashasvi has gone a bit lower in the pecking order considering the form Hetmeyer has brought. So that way, I think Yashasvi has fallen a bit, but he still becomes, as Jammu was mentioning, right? When he's has that initial power play overs to face, he can absolutely, without any sort of scoreboard pressure, he'll be even more lethal according to me. So I think Yashasvi does that, and even Ashwin for the same reason, he might bat up and sort of make a difference. In terms of LSG batting first, I think Mayers or Quinton, whoever plays, again has the same thing what Yashasvi had in terms of just getting absolutely all the balls, all the freedom to go and hit in the power play. And as Stoinis and Puran sort of batting first get some more deliveries than you expect. In terms of avoids, I think, yeah, what do you guys have to say about like Huda, Badoni, Parag? And, especially Badoni, Parag.
I think
Yeah, Vishnu, you can
Yeah.
take. Anchor, you can take. Yeah.
So I think I agree with the possible avoids which have been mentioned here. Huda has not been looking in good form. He looks completely out of touch, low on confidence. And as Vishnu mentioned, they might even give him a break for a few games. But Dhoni has usually been coming lower down the order, so he doesn't get to face too many balls. So he might be a real life good asset for them, but from a fantasy perspective, doesn't get a lot of opportunity. And the same goes for Riyan Parag. He has not been bowling as such. He's more like I think a very backup bowler kind of a thing for them. But with the kind of bowling attack that they have, I doubt he'll hardly bowl. And again, comes down the order. So fully agree with all the names mentioned in the avoid list. What are your thoughts on Padikkal? We have not touched base on him, and even in the season long and over here.
Yeah, I think personally to me, Padikkal still is a wait and watch because he has had those couple of innings, 20s, 30s. He's
Right.
looked more fluent than what he has looked in the past, but I think I would still give him maybe some more matches to see
Yeah.
if he has
Right.
sealed that number four. I can see a Hetmyer coming above him if a match situation demands the form Hetmyer is in.
Correct.
So
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, so that
If
way I
Padikkal
think
was opening the innings, I think he would have been a very good pick.
yeah,
But I think
absolutely.
at
Yeah.
this showdown, I don't think he's worth
Right.
it.
All right. So we have spoken about some safe choices. So if both of you have to give me one bold captaincy pick for tomorrow, Vishnu, you can start. Who would be that be?
Hmm. I think I'll go with Ashwin. Uh, Again, just because of his form, because of his confidence, because of them backing and him backing his own batting. Even with the ball, he looks like he's capable of getting wickets, right? Because when you have Chahal and Bolt and these guys keeping it tight, looks like batsmen are going after him a little bit more, and he's just a smart bowler. So I think he's likely to get wickets, likely to be in the run. So he has potential to win games as well. So man of the match potential. So all in all, he's a good
Yeah.
prospect and a bold differential.
Salka, if you have to give me one name.
Yeah. I think Myers is a good bold pick to have. Even Bishnoi for that matter, like if you have him, he could take wickets and give you those points.
Yeah, I think the upside potential of Mayers and Bishnoi, both in terms of like going absolutely blazing in the power play or sort of picking those middle wickets, I think yeah, pretty
Yeah.
good calls in terms if you have to catch up in the league and make up some places. So yeah, I think yeah,
How do you think Vishnu is gonna be used though? What is the like he bowled the 18th and 20th over? Was that just because he just got him late and he started bowling well, or do you see him bowl like these death overs a bit more? Maybe not the 20th, but maybe like 17th, 18th
me,
over.
I think maybe we'll have to see. We'll have to see maybe another game to see if that happens. But I think in overall in terms of points, he's a great asset to have. So okay, all right,
Yeah.
guys. Have a great match. All the best and a lot of points to offer. So hope you all of you do well. So see you tomorrow. Thank you, guys.
See you. Thanks.
See you.